Oh, meanwhile, public health officials say they are seeing signs of an early and severe flu season. According to the CDC, the U.S. has experienced the highest levels of hospitalizations from influenza in a decade for this time of year. Nearly every U.S. state is battling high levels of flu-like illness. The head of the CDC, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, is urging Americans to get the flu shot and updated COVID-19 vaccine boosters. She says early data suggests this year's flu shot formula appears to be well matched against the circulating strains. Let's bring in Dr. Peter Hotez. He's co-director of the Center for Vaccine Development at Texas Children's Hospital and dean of the National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine. He's also the author of the book, Preventing the Next Pandemic, Vaccine Diplomacy in a Time of Anti-Science.
Great to see you. I think for the first time in person.
I know it. It's great to see all of you in person. We've talked about so many sad things these last 3 years. It's nice to finally. It's very emotional to actually see you.
Yes, it's great. It's great to see you in person. We've gotten to know you in that room where you always seem to be. It's good to know you exist outside of that room. So let's just take a snapshot, if we can, Dr. Hotez, now as we enter deep into the holiday season now, where we are with COVID-19. You can put it in with the flu and RSV and all that, but in terms of how we're doing, how people are getting vaccinated, what people should be thinking about as they go into these holidays.
Yeah, with COVID-19, it looks like, unfortunately, the numbers are starting to trend up again. So the hospitalizations are up about 25%. The positivity is up around 25%. There's heterogeneity across the country, but the numbers are going up. And so the most important message that I have this morning is get your new bivalent booster. If you've not gotten it, you have to get it. And the reason you have to get it is two reasons.
Yeah.
One, we now know that once you're 4 or 5 months out of your previous booster, your risk of hospitalization goes up. So there's this buzz out there that says, oh, you don't really need to get the booster because we are not stopping infection anyway. But no, the booster's actually keeping people out of the hospital. And so if you're more than 4 or 5 months, you have to get a booster anyway.
Okay.
Second, you need to get this new bivalent booster.
That's what I want to ask about. I don't think you have that one.
No, I don't think so.
The dominant circulating variants now are these new, what I sometimes call Scrabble variants, because they use high-value Scrabble letters like XB and Q, and so it's a BQ1, BQ1.1, and this new bivalent booster has a BA5 component that seems to cross-react against the new Scrabble variants.
So we had some confusion at the table because Willie and Lise were saying they got their booster, and I was like, oh, I need to get mine. And then I found out they're talking about the third shot. And is that the bivalent, or is it the fourth booster, or does it matter? Like, can you help me understand? So
before Elise was asking me that very question, I said, don't worry so much about the number of boosters. Worry about when you got your last booster.
Okay.
Because we are seeing declining protection versus hospitalization. So again, up to, from 80% protection versus hospitalization down to 40 or 50% in some cases.
But you say get the bivalent booster. Is that, if you go in for a booster, is that going to be it? Or do you have to ask for it?
That should be the one that the pharmacists are giving right now.
So I had my last booster in September, so I should go in soon for my fourth booster.
October, November? That's a little tight.
A little too soon.
It's getting there.
January.
And in September, they may have still been giving some of the old boosters, so you may want to find out. But you may want to get it because the first formulation developed to the original lineage out of central China is not holding up well against the Scrabble variants. But the new bivalent one is doing a much better job.
There's definitely a sense out there, and I know you know this, that we've moved on. And there's talk about, well, they want people to wear masks again. People aren't going to put the masks back on. They've moved past that. They feel like I've done everything I have to do. I stayed inside for a year. I've got all these boosters I need. On with my life. What do you say to that, generally speaking? Because we have, here we are sitting together. We're not wearing masks. We're coming into work every day, most of us. What do you say to that sort of sense that this is over?
Well, you have to have situational awareness of what's happening right now, because not only is COVID-19 going up, but there are about 6 or 7 other respiratory pathogens that are going up. Respiratory syncytial virus is up. In our old friend influenza, 4,500 Americans have already died in this flu season so far. So you need to get your flu vaccine. And on top of that, you have metapneumovirus and parainfluenza and rhinovirus and pneumococcal pathogens. So people call it a tridemic, but it's more like a septidemic. There's about at least 7 pathogens out there. So, for instance, when I go onto the airplane coming to New York yesterday, the flight attendant hands you the wipes, and I use them. because they're really good at getting rid of some of those other pathogens like RSV and influenza. And I'm wearing a mask as much for the influenza and the RSV as I am for anything else.
Can we talk about the flu shot, please?
You're in trouble.
I don't mean to bully, but I've got somebody here who's going to get one.
Wow.
Well,
How are you? Is it okay with you to get one?
To be bullied?
No, no bully. No bully. We love
No,
you.
of
We
course.
want you to be healthy.
Of
Did you
course.
feel comfortable getting one?
Of course.
All right.
My wife is like, it's good for you.
Thank you.
Jeez, but it's
Thank
good for you.
Yay. But this is vital, especially this year. Can you talk about how the flu is doing?
Remember, you want to take as many pathogens off the table as you can.
There you go.
Unfortunately, we don't have the RSV vaccine available for this season. I think by next year, there's at least 2 or 3 RSV vaccines that are coming online,
good.
for older Americans.
For babies?
Because people forget that it's not only babies. There's thousands and thousands of seniors die from RSV as well. So those vaccines will be coming online. A vaccine
We
for
need
pregnant
that.
women to prevent neonatal infection, especially high-risk infants. But for now, we don't have it. But what we do have is we do have that bivalent booster for COVID, and we do have that
The flu
vaccine.
shot.
Before we let you go, we have to stop and applaud you because a lot of MSNBC viewers who have watched you constantly for the last 3 years or so and have come to trust you. I don't know if they fully appreciate what you and your research partner have done together, which is to develop your own vaccine.
Oh my God.
That's being used in India. Something like 70 million people have been vaccinated. You two were nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize because
My
of the work.
Lord.
Can you talk about the impact that vaccine has had because you saw a need outside the United States?
Well, remember, Delta arose out of an unvaccinated population out of India, Omicron out of an under-vaccinated population out of Africa. We knew that was going to happen, so we make vaccines that are specific for global health. We make I like to say we make the vaccines at Texas Children's Hospital and Baylor College of Medicine that the big pharma companies won't make. We make vaccines for parasitic infections, such as schistosomiasis and Chagas disease, but we also started making coronavirus vaccines 10 years ago because nobody cared about coronavirus vaccines 10 years ago. We started making SARS and MERS vaccines. We use a technology that's directly compatible with vaccine producers in low and middle income countries. So when we had the sequence back in January 2020, we hit the ground, myself and you mentioned my science partner, Dr. Mary Elena Batazzi. We've worked together for 22 years and made that vaccine, transferred it with no patent to a vaccine producer in India, Biological E. They've now administered about 85 million doses, including it's the major pediatric vaccine used in India, and now to Indonesia. And because it's a vegan technology, the Indonesians figured out that they can work with the clergy and make it as certified as a halal vaccine. So
Very
that's-
good.
that's kind
You're
of
amazing.
something I never would have expected. as
Dr.
well.
Peter Hotez, thank you for saving the world and being here this morning. It's great to see you.
It's really
Thank you
nice to
very
see you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the advice. And come